Well, that was fast. The Pentagon UFO unit says it has found off-world vehicles that are not of this world, not made on this world, quote unquote. For decades, disclosure has been one of, if not the most talked about topics in the UFO and alien community. One person who is deemed credible is the ex-foreign defense minister, the defense minister of Canada, Paul Hellyer, who's been talking about UFOs and extraterrestrials for decades. He even claimed that some of these extraterrestrials look just like us. If we passed them on the sidewalk, walking on the street, we would think they were humans. Now, going back to this, for decades, disclosure has been on and off, if not the most talked about topics in the UFO and alien community. For decades, disclosure has been one of the most talked topics. Now it's happening right before our eyes, and most of us seem to be oblivious to the magnitude of what is actually going on. A consultant for the Pentagon UFO program is speaking about retrievals from off-world vehicles not made on this earth, quote unquote. Eric W. Davis, an astrophysicist who worked as a subcontractor and then a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program since 2007, told the New York Times he gave a classified briefing to a Defense Department agency as recently as March about the alleged off-world vehicles. He also gave classified briefings on retrievals of unexplained objects to staff members of the Senate Armed Services Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee last October. Instead, it's been mostly cast aside as an afterthought in a time of coronavirus pandemic hysteria. The briefing focused on what Davis called off-world vehicles not made on this earth. In other words, Davis, who spent years working as a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program and now works as a defense contractor, has officially spilled the beans. Spaceships, aka UFOs, are real, and it's something we have most likely known about for a very long time. Davis said that in some cases he had failed to determine the source of recovered material, leading him to conclude, quote, "we could not make it ourselves," end quote. UFO program, quote, "no longer has to hide in the shadows," end quote. Davis's bombshell quote came in the latest UFO report from the New York Times, which has owned the beat for the past several years, according to a report from New York Magazine. Now, in December 2017, a paper reported on the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP, an effort by the Pentagon to investigate UFOs that was supposedly ended in 2012, hailed as, quote, "a historic reflection point in our attitudes regarding UFOs," end quote. It implied the same message as the most recent one. That is to say that UFOs are in fact real, and they are not from this earth, as many skeptics have claimed. Though the Pentagon has said it disbanded the program to investigate unidentified flying objects, the Times reported that investigations into encounters between military pilots and unidentified aerial vehicles continue under a renamed program, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, inside the Office of Naval Intelligence. While the program is not classified, it deals with classified matters. A Senate committee reported last month said the program was a standardized collection and reporting on sightings of unexplained aerial vehicles. The program was ordered to report at least some of its findings to the public within 180 days after the passing of the Intelligence Authorization Act. It's now moving up to the whole new era of transparency, according to Luis Elizondo, the ex-director of its predecessor program. He said it no longer has to hide in the shadows. Known as the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, it is now obligated to make further reports public. So will the task force ever present physical proof? While the announcement is still being digested by most people, the time is now to buckle up for round two. Further announcements and reports are expected to be released in the coming weeks, months, and years as more and more findings are made public. The big question is whether or not physical evidence will be presented in the form of an actual craft or perhaps even artifacts or instruments from other worlds, spaceships, and even alien beings themselves. Elizondo, who took over the lead position of the Defense Department's UFO program in the 2010s, is among a small group of former government officials and scientists with security clearances who, without presenting physical proof, say they are convinced that objects of undetermined origin have crashed on Earth with material retrieved for study. And again, he's saying this without giving evidence. The program was started about a decade ago and budgeted at $22 million, according to the Times. It went by ATIP for Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, and has also been referred to as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And again, no evidence has been given. And this is by Myth and Mystery on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.